Hello everyone, welcome to Mixed Media Monday. Very excited to get started. This is what we did last week, and I think I kind of rushed over the flowers a little bit, so we're gonna do a bit of focus on these type of drippy flowers that we did last week with the ladybugs. So I don't know if it's gonna be a full 2 pages yet to decide, but we're just gonna do a bit of covering. And I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get a bit of yellow, a bit of purple, sorry. A bit of purple on our thing. So we've got metallic purple acrylic paint, and then we got a little bit of the fluoro purple ink. And then put a bit of white out as well. But what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to start off by just doing a little bit of this. Lifting. And, actually, we might come in and brayer it on a little bit. So let's grab the metallic purple and put a bit of a line on our brayer. And brayer it on. My art journal is not flat. Just as a heads up, it ain't flat. And my brayer is very textured. So doing a little bit more of this. Helps us get on a bit of colour. And then if we lift it up, grab our water, and then let's grab a paintbrush. This pointed round one. Just some of the purple. I don't think this is a tall enough. There we go. Just need a bit of a slightly taller angle. Oh, actually. The modeling piece there. There we go. So nearly vertical our art journal is. So what we're going to do is going to come in, drag those drips across, and get it to do all of the work. There we go. It's just about coming in, adding in some water. And we're doing this to get used to doing a little bit of dripping. So with dripping, water is our friend. It's kind of like flicking. But you do have to keep reloading like the ink or paint that you've got on your paintbrush every time you load it with water. Just because if you go in and you just load with water, you do eventually lose the colour that you're trying to drip, and all you've got is clear water again. So, or coloured water. So we're just coming in and getting a bit more of a dripping along. And this is just so that we can get a bit of colour on the background before we do our flowers. Right. And I'm quite happy with that. Now we want our background to be dry before we come in. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to come with a piece of gauze and just removes the really wet, pooly parts. This also means that it kind of gives our background drips a bit of a ghost print. It's just coming in. It is kind of good though to practice dripping before we do the flowers, because the flowers are a lot smaller than a whole page. So that's why we start with that there. Okay, and then let's grab our gold, which is going to be like the feature color in the center of our flowers. So as you can see here, I did it with pink last time, and this time I'm going to do it with gold. So we're just going to grab out a bit of gold. Now, also going to make sure we've got no purple left on our paintbrush. There we go. With the gold, when you do the centers, it is best to have your journal flat at this point, because we're not trying to drip the centers. So we're going to do first just a few ovals, and you don't want to have them like right next to each other. So this one here, I'm not going to come and paint like one right there. I'm going to move it so I've got about a centimeter gap. Just makes it a bit easier. We are going to put a fair few flowers on here, just so then we can get the idea of it. And then we are going to grab just a smidge of that white out from there. Come and add it to the ends of a few of them, and then I'm going to bring my gold back in. This is just for some shadowing, completely optional. Also gives it a bit more of opaqueness, especially if you're going on top of a dark color like purple. Means your background doesn't always have to be like 100% light. Okay. And then we've got that done. Now, there is our circles done. So each one of these, or ovals, each one of these is going to become a flower. There are two ways of doing this. The first way is that you come in, we're going to do white petals, so you can see this really clearly. The first way is you come in and you dab your paintbrush down hard and flick out. And you do that, making ovals. And then you stand it up. Nearly vertical again. And grabbing the water, you come in and you dip the water on the tip of the petal in the direction that the petal's going in. So that is one option. The other option is that you do it all while it's vertical. So you let it go a little bit naturally. And you don't push as hard when you make the ovals, because the first step of making the ovals is just getting the shape. And then you come in, grab a bit more white and a lot of water, and you come in and you redo the ovals. And as you go through and you redo the ovals, paint vertically, it drips. See? It's a bit, what should we call it, a bit more natural. So we're just going to come in and wipe the drips away from the top of that, of the little gold centers we've got there. So I'll just do another one this way. This is my preferred method of doing it with it up vertically, because it means if I don't get the shape right the first time round, because I'm adding white straight back over top of where I've painted, it means I can really get the petals to the shape I would like them to be and to the size I would like them to be. So let's just come in and do another one. We will do a few more the other way as well. We'll just keep going. This way here I do end up with bigger petals too. I don't know about you, but I love flowers with big petals. So let me just lay it down flat so you can see that. You can see a lot bigger petals. But we'll come in and we'll do the one up here now. And lift. And drip. And then once again, because these petals are on the side here, dipping the water so the water comes out of the side of the paintbrush. There we go. And as you can see, it's gotten a bit messy here. I'll lay it down flat so you can see a bit clearly. It's gotten a bit messy in this section, so we're just going to grab the gauze we've got and we come in and lift the water of those ones. The other option you've got is, I do forget this, but it is suggested if you want your flowers to have twigs, you come in and you paint them now, because obviously it's going to be a little bit difficult there. So let's just get some brown and I'll show you. I'm going to use some brown acrylic ink. It's the burnt umber one. We buy these in the sets. They're great little bottles. I get a lot out of them. I've done a lot of paintings with them. So if I've pre-dripped it, I've just got to come in where kind of the last petal meets and do a drip from there. Or with these ones here where I haven't done a drip yet, can come in and be a little bit more loose and do a bit of flicking down with the petals. But we do have to make sure those dry, the stems dry, before we come in and do the petals. So I'm just going to make these a little bit more. I try and do it this way where I paint the stems first, but I rarely do it that way. I get to the end, I'm like, oh, stems. You know, because that's just who I am. But we need to get this a bit dry. 1 minute. Let's get our heat tool out. And just dry our stems up. It's just going to take a second. Just trying to get rid of some of the pooling of it. I like to use the acrylic ink because it's got all the pigment there, but it's still in like liquid form, so I can get a nice flick on it. Just making sure there's none. Yep. Beautiful. So let's come in and do our petals now. With our petals. Just about reloading. Ooh, oops, a bit loosey-goosey there. That's what happens. Mm. Okay, and then there we go. And let me just do a bit of dripping. One second. Do some colouring in, and then we'll be there. Okay. Sorry about that. Millie and I are having a sister's weekend. Well, a sister day. Well, Mum and Dad drop off at uni. Okay. So let's just get this a little bit more. I was not paying attention while doing this file. Looks very mucky. 1 minute. Just come in and edit it a little bit. Okay. So it's just about coming in and expressing some freedom. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's no perfect flower, so no matter what you do, it's going to look great. And there we go. So there's those flowers there. This one here, I don't like how I've lost a lot of my white there, so I'm just going to actually come in and repaint that one in, I think. And then hear me out a little bit. I do think I need to add like some maybe purple script coming in and out, but I also think if we get a little bit of our modeling paste. Now I have a big jar of this. I'm not using the light, but if you do have light at home, this will work with light modeling paste as well. So it's up to you how you use it. I am going to have 2 palette knives on the go. So 1 palette knife with the full amount of modeling paste I'm going to use. The other palette knife I'm going to apply to my art journal page. So I'm just putting the lid back on that one, my seal, and then let's come in and grab just a smidge of our palette knife. And I'm just coming in. and dragging it. There we go. And then, don't know if you can actually see what I'm doing. Maybe we'll lower you guys just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Just a little bit more. So I'm just going around the edge of the gold along my flowers. My aim is to build texture. You might be asking why I haven't put this in the palette that I'm using. And it's just because, well, I think this is a little bit more easier than trying to re-scoop it out of the palette. Just a smidge. Not by much, though. I've also been trying to come up with ways to use this very thick palette knife. Reminds me of a cheese knife. But oh, there we go. So no mistakes when it comes to art. Only texture. Or just another layer. It's just about really coming in. And accenting the middle. Of the flowers. Around the middle of the flowers. Okay. There we go. There's that one. So let's put that in the water and then we're going to lift it up. Okay. So it's like I was saying, I think I just need a little, some flicking of white up the top of my flowers like pollen, but also some dark purple accents coming out. And I'm either thinking, I think I got these two at the beginning before I started because I was like, oh, I could put these into the flowers, but I don't think they're going to match. So I was either thinking like a scripty type one. Don't get me wrong, my script stencil has been used a lot. Like, oh my gosh, a lot. So not here. Or we could do like a few little butterflies, but I'm feeling like something on the smaller side of, we'll put this to one side with the separative stencils. So something on the small side of patterns. So we could even do a stamp realistically. Could put a break. You can see I keep all of my stamps well cared. Flower, log hearts. Yeah. It'll jump out at me when I see it. I do like this stencil. I do accidentally have two of it too. I could do that bigger script. What is this one called? Naomi-Jon, just cursive. Sounds about right. Yes, let's use this one. Okay. First, let's get it a bit of a heat. A bit of a dry in a few spots. a bit dry. Just dry enough for us to come in and work a bit of magic. Okay. Now, obviously I can't just lay the stencil on there because even though I've dried it a little bit, it's only touch dry. So if I push the stencil onto it, it's gonna peel up some of that modeling paste we've just put down. So if I get Mealy to come and get Mum's spritzer, we'll make up a little bit of a mix. Could you get? Yes, you want the spritzer? Yes, please. It's just next to her Timmy scissors over there. And could you see how much water it has in it, please? While she does that, let's come in and do some flicking real quick. So grabbing our water. I'll fill it up. Thank you. And then some white paint and just a bit more water. Come in and just do a little bit coming out of our flowers and a little bit in the middle of the flowers. Now, if there's any of these little flicks that have gone somewhere where you're like, oh, I didn't want them there, always just come in and add a bit of water to that gauze. You can lift up the flicks. It's up to you. Like, you know, peeling, okay? And then we're going to do just a few small, like, spritz of meat. That's a lot of water in here. Okay, and then we're just going to add a little bit of the fluoro purple. And only do a few flicks up the top. And a few flicks down the bottom. Not too many, because we're about to come in and add a bit more purple accenting in a few spots. Okay. There we go. So that's what that looks like so far. And now if we get the water spritzer that Amelia has overfilled just slightly. Now you can clean the water spritzer out once you've added colour to it. It does take a few runs through of cleaning it with clean water, but it's okay. You can spritz it into a bucket. Okay. Or into your sink. What am I thinking? I need a bit of purple. But I want it to be metallic, so I'm going to get my... I'm going to get the acrylic ink purple. I'm just going to put in a little bit of a dash. Put the lid back on the spritzer. Give it a bit of a shake. That's what our mix looks like. And make sure it's running purple by squeezing it into our palette. Yep. Purple. Perfect. Okay, and then just going to come and lay this lightly on top. So just not even holding it down, just placing it and spritzing from pretty high up and then lifting. And it's not to give us like a set, like, you know, oh my gosh, it's really cursive. It's just to give us a little bit of texture. Just dribble that off a little bit, and then we'll come and do a little bit up here. As a bit of a ghost print. And I think it might be finished. What do all of you think? I do like this. All I reckon it needs is a little bit more the brown we used for the stem. So we just come in and just do some light little flicks. Oh. Once again, not having to be perfect, just a few little thin little flicks. Okay. I just realized you couldn't see that hole first, but I did. Okay. Oh, no. This bit. Oopsies. I might have to lift you just slightly higher. Sorry about that. There we go. The brown is going to mix a little bit with the drippies, but that's okay. And what do we think? Yes or no? I do like. Just think we do one last fresh little coat of flicks here. And we are all good. And that is our mixed media class. Thank you for coming. You can watch this video at any time. So whether you're watching it while you're creating it, or you want to create it later and want to rewatch it, you can do that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this class. There's plenty more to watch and plenty more to come. So thank you for watching and have a great day and a wonderful week. See you all next time. Bye. Thank you.